Here's a statement most men won't admit. If you're not journaling, you're leaving massive amounts of your potential untapped. That might sting a little because journaling has long been seen as a soft or girly habit, something for teenagers, writers, or self-help fanatics. But here's the truth. The most powerful, confident, and successful men don't skip this step. They use journaling as a tool to sharpen their mind, dominate their emotions, and accelerate their growth. Journaling isn't about writing fluffy thoughts or obsessing over your feelings. It's about clarity, strategy, and control. Every alpha male who achieves big in life understands that your mind is your most valuable asset. And if you're leaving it messy, unorganized, or reactive, you're sabotaging yourself without realizing it. Journaling is the secret weapon that turns chaos into order, confusion into clarity, and stress into actionable insight. Think about it. Life throws constant challenges at you. Work pressure, relationship issues, social drama, or internal doubts. Without a system to process these, your energy gets scattered. Decisions feel harder, emotions feel heavier, and your growth slows down. Journaling isn't just writing. It's a practice that forces you to confront reality, measure yourself honestly, and plan your next move strategically. It's where the alpha mindset takes shape. Welcome to the channel. This is a space for men who want real results, not temporary motivation. Today, we are diving deep into journaling secrets that separate average men from men who consistently level up in life. I'm going to break down why journaling works, how it affects your performance, and how you can use it to get more control over your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. No fluff, no clichés, just practical strategies that, when applied, will make a difference in the way you think, act, and succeed.By. By the end of this video, you'll understand why journaling is not optional if you want to be a man who operates at full potential. You'll see how simple habits on paper can translate into massive shifts in your life. So if you're ready to stop leaving your success to chance and start building a clear, focused, and disciplined mind, stick with me. 1. Journaling isn't weak. It's strategic. Most men hear the word journaling and immediately think of diaries, feelings, and soft, introspective nonsense. That's the stereotype, but here's the truth. Journaling is a tool for strategy, not sentiment. It's a weapon for the mind, and alpha men know that controlling their thoughts is just as important as controlling their actions. Think about a situation many men face. It's Monday morning, the week is already chaotic, deadlines are piling up, your inbox is full, and your mind is spinning in 10 directions. A reactive man dives straight into the chaos, answering emails, handling crises, and making decisions on the fly. He feels busy, but he's scattered. His energy leaks. Opportunities get missed. Mistakes happen. Now consider a man who journals. He starts his morning by writing down priorities, challenges, and emotions. He sees on paper what's urgent, what's important, and what's noise. He organizes his thoughts, identifies potential reactions to stressful situations, and plans his responses. Suddenly, what once felt chaotic becomes manageable. The pressure doesn't disappear, but his mind has a map. He's no longer just surviving, he's directing. This is the core principle. Journaling gives you a space to process without reaction. It helps you spot patterns in your behavior, uncover blind spots, and make smarter decisions. You're not just writing about your day, you're engineering your mindset. You're training your brain to recognize triggers, manage impulses, and focus on outcomes instead of distractions. Here's another powerful point. Writing forces honesty. When your thoughts hit paper, you can't fake clarity. You see yourself as you are, your fears, doubts, and mistakes, but you also see possibilities, solutions, and wins. This is critical because alpha men don't operate on illusions. They confront reality, no matter how uncomfortable, and then plan action. So stop thinking journaling is a soft habit. It's the opposite. It's deliberate, tactical, and highly effective. The men who take the time to journal daily don't just hope for clarity, they create it. They don't let emotions dictate actions. They observe, analyze, and respond. If you want control over your life, your decisions, and your growth, this is one of the simplest tools you can adopt. It's not about being emotional. It's about being powerful. 2. Your mind is a mess without a system. Most men operate like their brain is a hard drive with no organization. Random files everywhere, important stuff buried under clutter, and constant alerts demanding attention. Without a system, your thoughts, plans, and priorities become a mess. You feel stressed, distracted, and reactive. Journaling fixes this. A system isn't about writing every little detail of your life. It's about creating a consistent structure to process your thoughts and track what matters. When you put ideas, worries, and plans on paper, you stop carrying them in your head. You free mental space for problem solving instead of overthinking. Journaling also helps you prioritize. Men often waste energy on urgent but unimportant tasks while ignoring actions that actually move the needle. Writing down your top goals for the day, week, or month forces you to focus on what will have the most impact. It's like turning on a spotlight in a dark room. You immediately see what's important and what's just noise. Another point, clarity reduces stress. When everything is swirling in your mind, decisions feel heavier than they are. Journaling acts as a mental release valve. You're able to capture thoughts, assess them, and decide what to act on now and what can wait. That prevents your brain from spinning in loops of what ifs and should-haves. Tracking progress is a hidden power of journaling. Men who write down achievements, no matter how small, create a visual record of momentum. It's not about boasting. It's about seeing proof that your efforts matter, which builds confidence and reinforces consistency. Finally, journaling helps you spot patterns. Are you getting frustrated in the same situations? Reacting the same way to stress? Procrastinating on certain tasks? When you review your journal, these patterns become obvious. Recognizing them is the first step to changing them. The structured mind leads to structured action. The alpha male isn't reactive, scattered, or indecisive. He has a system that channels his thoughts, focuses his energy, and clarifies his direction. Without it, even the most capable man drifts, loses time, and wastes opportunities. Journaling gives you the system to take control. 3. Alpha men track wins. Not just thoughts. Journaling isn't only about dumping your thoughts or venting frustrations. It's about tracking progress. Alpha men understand that momentum builds confidence. If you only record what's on your mind, you miss the most important part, measuring what you accomplish. Every small win matters. Maybe you crushed a workout, handled a difficult conversation with calm, or finished a task you were procrastinating on. Writing it down turns fleeting victories into permanent markers of progress. Seeing consistent wins on paper reinforces discipline and fuels motivation naturally. Tracking also keeps you honest with yourself. It's easy to overestimate how much you're actually doing or improving when everything exists only in your head. Journaling creates accountability. You can look back at your entries and see patterns of success, or notice where you're stalling. Alpha men don't ignore weaknesses. They confront them because improvement depends on self-awareness. Another important aspect, journaling helps you plan your next move strategically. When you track your actions and results, you start seeing what works and what doesn't. This insight allows you to double down on effective habits and cut out what wastes time and energy. Think of it as a personal performance review you conduct daily, without waiting for someone else to evaluate you. Consistency is key. Even if your wins feel small or insignificant, documenting them compounds over time. Writing down achievements trains your brain to focus on progress, not perfection. It changes your perspective. Instead of obsessing over failures, you notice momentum, which encourages persistence. Finally, journaling builds confidence. When challenges arise, you can flip through your entries and remind yourself, I've overcome tough situations before. I can handle this one too. That confidence isn't fake bravado. It's grounded in real, recorded evidence of your competence and resilience. Tracking wins shifts your mindset from reactive to proactive. You stop living in chaos or doubt and start living intentionally. Alpha men aren't lucky. They are aware, disciplined, and strategic. Journaling gives you the tools to measure, reinforce, and grow that awareness consistently. 4. Emotions out. Clarity in one of the biggest advantages journaling gives alpha men is emotional control. Life constantly tests your patience, confidence, and focus. Without an outlet, emotions pile up, cloud judgment, and push you into reactive behavior. Journaling acts as a mental reset. It separates your thoughts from your feelings so you can think clearly. When you write down what's bothering you, what excites you, or what stresses you, you stop carrying it all inside. That mental clutter is like a storm cloud over every decision you make. Alpha men understand that clarity is power. The calmer your mind, the sharper your decisions, and the more confident your actions. Journaling also forces reflection. Men who skip this step rarely see the connection between actions and results. When you write, you notice patterns, situations that trigger stress, people who drain energy, habits that boost performance, and choices that sabotage progress. This reflection allows you to anticipate problems and act strategically, rather than reacting blindly. Another critical point, writing your thoughts creates a sense of control. You're not just letting emotions dictate behavior. You're observing, analyzing, and deciding how to respond. This transforms chaos into opportunity. Stress becomes data. Anger becomes insight. Desire becomes direction. Journaling can also help with goal alignment. When your mind is clear, you can measure daily choices against long-term priorities. Alpha men aren't aimless. They know what they want and track progress toward it, even if it's small steps every day. Writing reinforces this awareness. Finally, clarity improves relationships. When you understand your emotions and thought patterns, you communicate better and react less impulsively. People respond positively to composure. Journaling trains you to interact with purpose, not just instinct. The takeaway is simple. Emotions aren't bad, but unprocessed emotions are dangerous. Journaling is the tool that lets you process, reflect, and regain control. Alpha men don't let life push them around. They shape it intentionally. 5. If you don't write, you forget, and lose memory is a tricky thing. Men often think they'll remember important insights, lessons, or ideas, but most of the time, they don't. Life moves fast, and without a record, your thoughts, strategies, and progress slip away. That's where journaling comes in. It's not just a habit. It's a tool for capturing what matters before it disappears. Picture a man juggling multiple projects, relationships, and personal goals. He has great ideas at 2 a.m., realizes mistakes at work, or notices opportunities in conversation. If he doesn't write these down, they vanish. By morning, clarity is gone, and is back to reacting rather than acting. Journaling creates a permanent record of insight and strategy, so you can reference it later, learn from it, and make better decisions. Journaling also forces you to prioritize. Not every thought or feeling is important, but putting it on paper helps you separate what matters from what doesn't. When you consistently write down actions, lessons, and reflections, you start noticing what drives results and what wastes energy. This habit alone can drastically improve performance over time. Another power of writing is perspective. When you look back at past entries, you see growth you may not have noticed in the moment. You notice patterns of strength, recurring mistakes, and moments when you handled challenges better than expected. This reflection is critical for self-improvement because it teaches you to repeat effective behaviors and avoid repeating errors. Journaling also strengthens accountability. It's easy to make promises to yourself and let them slide. Writing down intentions and checking progress daily forces responsibility. Alpha men don't rely on willpower alone. They design systems that keep them on track, and journaling is one of the most effective. Finally, journaling is a mental reset. It lets you process stress, vent frustration safely, and gain clarity before making decisions. Without it, unresolved thoughts linger, emotions fester, and mistakes multiply. The simple act of writing protects your focus, sharpens your mind, and ensures you don't lose to forgetfulness or chaos. If you want to operate at your peak, writing isn't optional, it's essential. Journaling locks in knowledge, tracks wins, and gives you the clarity needed to move forward strategically. Here's a statement most men won't like but need to hear. If you're not journaling, you're leaving your mind untrained and your potential untapped. That's not just a small oversight, it's a competitive disadvantage. Every alpha male who achieves real success understands that growth starts on paper, long before it shows up in action. Journaling isn't about being emotional or soft, it's about strategy, clarity, and accountability. It helps you organize your thoughts, process emotions, track wins, and see patterns you'd otherwise miss. When you write, you take control of your mind instead of letting it control you. You move from reaction to action, from chaos to focus, from scattered effort to deliberate progress. Most men underestimate the power of small daily habits, but journaling compounds over time. The simple act of capturing insights, planning moves, and reflecting on growth separates men who drift through life from men who intentionally shape it. And here's the kicker. The more consistent you are with it, the sharper your mind becomes, and the more control you gain over your outcomes. That I want to hear from you. Share your experiences in the comments. What insights have you captured? What challenges are you working through? And how has journaling changed your perspective? I read the comments, and I engage with you there, because real growth happens when we reflect, discuss, and hold ourselves accountable. Remember this. The men who dominate aren't just strong, they're disciplined, intentional, and self-aware. Journaling is one of the simplest ways to build that edge. Start writing, start tracking, and start shaping the life you actually want instead of leaving it to chance.